Okay, so I think one of the challenges that was presented by this idea of turning our lectures into an online capture for our students was to think about how are we going to engage our students? What are going to be some of the strategies that we need to use to put forward this information in an engaging way? So I looked around for a few tools that could be fun for me to learn, but also fun for our students to watch. One of them I tried was GoAnimate. It's a great little product. It's a software tool that allows you to construct basically a comic strip or a little animation. You can type in the text of what you want the animations to say. You can construct the scene, all of the backgrounds, even down to the accents of the characters that you use. And then I just constructed this conversation that might have occurred between possibly me and a student or two students within the class, just talking about how they were excited to participate in this unit.
This is a great unit with many interesting online materials to engage us and help us learn how to teach science to primary students.
Look, I think the pedagogy drives the tech. I think it has to be that way. You know, I'm not a particularly techie person, but I have these issues because I am concerned about how to best involve and encourage my off-campus students. And great that I have an on-campus cohort to work with, but you know, being able to put the two together allows me to, I guess, to offer a better service to my off-campus students. So there's a number of videos in here where I've used some of the researchers in our team and engaged with some of their current thinking around how we might improve science education learning.
Hi, I'm Russell Tytler and I'm going to talk about inquiry teaching in science.
So we've used obviously Russell here, but we've also been able to, you know, clarify some of the things that he's talking about. So we're actually using classroom footage, you know, research footage that is able to exemplify what we're talking about in that lecture. So I'm putting it all together in iMovie. I can pull all the pieces together really quite easily. So I think I'm getting better at using iMovie. I'm getting quicker at editing. I'm able to, now I'm starting to really concentrate on how do I support the information to come out through the movie. So even though in the video capture you see a person, you hear them talking, I'm starting to think about how can I present textual support. So can I put in captions? Can I highlight somehow what's actually been said? Maybe overlay a slide that really brings out either a diagram or a textual representation of what's going on in that piece of information. So we're using a process called Digi Explanations, where they are asked to produce a 3 to 5 minute multimedia presentation. And the purpose of that is to allow them to focus on a concept and then to present that concept in a very short time in a way that's engaging for students, for their school students. It's focused on VCE biology. So I'm having to encourage them with ways of engaging with multimedia. And you know, it's challenging. My students have a variety of experience in applying multimedia. Some of them have never videoed before. Unfortunately, I complicate things for them a little bit in that I also ask them to conduct an interview. So an interview is not necessarily a comfortable thing. It does require you to know your tech and to be comfortable with it, as well as then concentrate on your interview, questioning and technique. So there's a lot going on. So I've really tried to model what I want my students to do. Here is a model of a Digi explanation. I've crafted for you 6 steps that I think will help step out how to construct a Digi explanation. So giving my students a bit of an example of how I've had to go through the process. So I interviewed a researcher, I actually interviewed 2, and I used Skype to do a video capture using Skype of the interview. So that, you know, you have to then know how to use Skype. You then have to also think about how to do screen capture and then put the two together and make sure your microphone and audio is working, and then be able to pull that into your editing program and put it together. So we talk about animation in a Digi explanation as being a really useful tool for stepping out processes. So I devised a process that I wanted my students to think about. So I actually found VideoScribe online, and it's, you know, it's a nice little software tool, and in a Sunday I taught myself how to use it, made the product and then recorded it. So it doesn't have to be hugely time consuming, but you just have to be committed to the cause, I think. I want teachers to be comfortable to create their own resources. I don't want them to have to be internet surfer junkies, you know, so that they're constantly feeling like they have to surf and they're always looking for the best resource. I want them to feel comfortable that they can pull pull the material together into their own resource, to craft it exactly to what their students need, and to be able to do that in an ongoing way. I just think that's a great pedagogical strategy and tool to have in your back pocket to be able to use digital media in that way. I don't know that I don't have a vision here for 5 years. You know, I'm still right at the coalface trying to work out how do I process the material that I've taken on Tuesday in a timely way for my students, because at the moment that's difficult. You know, I'm still learning editing processes, I'm still making mistakes with my tech application, I'm still learning better ways to collect audio and to match that together with the video. And I've been talking to my colleagues in science education about using this tech, and they're very responsive and they're really interested. So it's about having someone you can have that conversation with. So finding someone to talk to. I value the TeachAssist people hugely, because if I have a small problem that's holding me up with my project, I can call, Fab's great, he gets back to me right away, and then I can move on with my project. Having someone in that role is really, really important. So I think with my colleagues, I've tried to show them what I've been doing, encourage them to have a go. I've now got equipment that I can share with them, and I'm really happy to do that. So I think it's about sort of creating this culture that this sort of work is good. It's maybe what we should be trying to do and think about.